Guitar and some memories in a faded duffel bag. The city lights coming into view. I've been to hell but made it back.
Based here in southeastern Connecticut that specializes in obtaining items or services for Connecticut combat wounded veterans that aren't being met by other organizations like the VA. So what we like to think is where the VA or these other establishments have to leave off because of their corporate red tape and limitations, we can come in behind them and fulfill these needs by reaching out to the community, working with our vast network of supporters, and just coming together as a whole and supporting these Purple Heart recipients and improving their overall quality of life. A lot of people ask us how do they get involved and how do they join in on the fun with us. A lot of things you could do. Follow us on Facebook, #1, Instagram, Twitter. Go to our website at gotph.org. You can send donations, send us a message. Spread the word of what we're doing. All the Connecticut Purple Heart recipients, we are out there trying to make a difference in their lives. So please give us a hand and join in on the fun.
Hey, this is Texas singer-songwriter Sergeant Scotty Frazier, proud to have served in the United States Marine Corps and now proud to serve with music. I am honored to be interviewed by and partner with Fubar Studio, the best in military and veteran supporting podcasts. Check them out, and thank you for your service for our American heroes. Also check out scottyfrazier.com for more of my music, and check us out on Spotify, Amazon, and where all good things are streaming. Semper Fi, rock and roll.
Bring your appetite down to Big Belly Cafe, 140 Gore Street, Webster, Mass. for curbside, takeout, and indoor seating. Visit BigBellyCafe.com to view their hours, menu, and order online. For reservations, please call ahead at 508-949-2433. Follow Big Belly Cafe on Facebook for weekly and daily specials. And remember, all veterans receive a discount for their recognition of service. Big Belly Cafe. Reedy's Archery, located in Middleborough, Mass. at 121 Wood Street, has been a staple in the area since 1993 and has become the one-stop pro shop for competitive target archers and bow hunters from New England. Reedy's is open Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure to visit Reedy'sArchery.com and follow them on Facebook to keep up with upcoming events. Reedy's Archery, dedicated to the archer. Wolf Aviation Network is the only flight school in the area utilizing the Airwolf Simulator AATD and the specialized Part 61 training program designed to save students money while increasing safety and efficiency. Creating safe pilots is our first priority. Our flight sim is the perfect training device. It is designed to prepare students adequately before taking flight in our aircraft. Fly with us and save money. Wolf Aviation. Reserve your spot at 413-563-1929 and visit wolfaviationnetwork.com.
This is what we train for, every day.
We just received new intel that there's an enemy presence at the airstrip compound.
All those years. When you're the first to arrive, it's not enough to be ready. You have to be relentless. It's our job to control the ground and the sky, wherever they may meet, even behind enemy lines. They call us one-man air traffic control towers, but we're more than that.
Ivy Lima Charlie, break. Airfield is stable. You are clear to land.
We turn hell into an airstrip. And clear the way for others to follow.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host Doug, and today we've got a special guest with us today. But first and foremost, I want to say a big shout out to all of our viewers who have been following us. Now we're in the 2025 season, so definitely moving on with the big and better stuff what's going on. So definitely want to tell all of our sponsors thank you. Just big sponsors of Sig Sauer. Appreciate their sponsor for the last, I think it's been 10 years or so. So big shout out to them. Thank you for their continuing support here with Homeland Heroes and Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement. But today, like I said, we've got a special guest with us. We've got a gentleman named Sal. He's a music recording artist with Label 22, and he's also a spokesperson for the Wounded Warriors Project. And I'm gonna let you take it over, and you've got the following, man.
Sure, boss. I've been a dirty hippie musician my whole life. I've been playing music since I was like 12 or 13 when I picked up the guitar, and I've been singing since before then, just annoying the shit out of my sisters. I can curse on here, right?
Absolutely. It's a no harm ball
here. Yeah, so I'd annoy my family. But just, growing up, being the kid that sang everything, I was like, if it was a jingle on television, I was going to sing it. Yep. And played in bands, started playing guitar at 12 or 13. Started playing in bands in high school and just kept getting better and kept doing that. And that was kind of my path in life. That's all I wanted to do was play music and sing. And then one day I was in English class and somebody came in the doorway and said, turn the TV on, something's happening. And it was September 11th of 2001. And I was like, oh, wild. And I figured my country was going to go to war and I needed to go do my part. You know, my parents emigrated here.
Yep.
They met and fell in love here. My grandfather started a business in this country. My sisters got academic scholarships to the colleges of their choice. Like, just lots of great things have come to our family from being in this country. And I was fiercely patriotic, not just because of all those things, but also because, like, my mom would take me back home to where she was from in Mexico, and I would see the way my cousins were growing up and the kind of school they were going to, and where as far as they would go to school, because I think most of my cousins went to like the 6th grade or 5th grade or something, and that's about it, and they're done with school and it's time to go to work. So I was very aware of how good we had it by being born in this country and being here. So I wanted to go do my part. And as soon as I was old enough, I turned 18 in 2003, and that October, it was October 21st of 2003, I raised my right hand. I joined the United States Marine Corps. Went off to boot camp, and later the School of Infantry, where I became a machine gunner. And then they sent me to 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, the most decorated battalion in the Marine Corps. And, you know, we did like a 6-month workup, and the whole time I've got guitars with me. The whole time I'm playing, I'm talking smack, I'm learning country music, because I had like been exposed to a little bit of it in high school. I'd heard some Garth Brooks, and I'd heard the stuff that was on country music television, because that's really all that I could find. There's not a lot of country radio stations in LA. So I all of a sudden I was around a bunch of dudes from Arkansas and Texas and Tennessee, and they're like, yeah, man, listen to this. Here's Hank Williams Jr. You're never going to hear this guy named David Allan Coe on the radio. And I'm like, okay, sure. And so I just got my education in country music in the Marine Corps. And then after about 6 months of doing all our, you know, workups, your trainings, your desert training and your combined armor exercises and all the dot your I's and crossing your T's of what the military says you're supposed to have under your belt before you go into combat.
Yep.
And we got shipped off to our Ramadi, Iraq in 2004. It was September and or late August 2004. And then because we were like operating the first week of September.
Yeah.
So in our Ramadi, I was a machine gunner. So I was in weapons company.
Yeah.
And it was we were quick reaction force. Like, you know, guys get out in a firefight in town, they call us, we come in guns blazing and just kind of save their bacon. Yeah. Or we would do patrols, day and night patrols, or we would do day-night escort missions. So, you know, general's coming through, he needs somebody to escort him from this side of town to the other. Or we have food and medicine that we need to transport to these Marines over here. So you guys are the security detail, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what my day-to-day was for the 2 months that I was there. And in those 2 months, I got blown up 7 times.
That is...
6 of those times, they were doing good to, like, scratch my paint. And those are, like, direct hits to my vehicle. That's not including the ones that blew up one of my buddies or blew up in front of me or behind me. This is just direct hits to my vehicle. And the last one happened on Halloween, October 31st of 2004. So for those of us who are counting, that's a year and 10 days after I enlisted. I like to people I cosplayed as a badass for about a year.
Hey, listen, I think we all count when it comes to the military. It's like we all count. Like, I got out in 9 years, 11 months, 28 days, but who's really counting, you know? It's like, yeah. No, totally get it. You know, so that's not even including really the ones that were probably, you know, the 5th convoy vehicle in, or, you know, the 10th convoy passing over, whatnot. Because again, those guys over there, they didn't give 2 shits on who really kind of where they put the fucking bombs, as long as it went off and, you know, it didn't go detected. And
exactly, yeah, as long as they could hit somebody, they were happy with it. And frankly, I get it. I mean, it turned into a game after a little while. You're there and you're like, all right, let's see who can get through the gauntlet today. And the gauntlet is driving from one end of the city to the other.
Yep. I mean,
on a straight road.
I mean, even look at the song. I don't remember when the guy Mikhail Buck wrote it, but he wrote it he wrote a song called Irish Road, which is actually Route Irish. You know, anybody that was ever deployed over there, you know, you might, and you're deployed in this area, you would have known, you know, from 1-5 all the way to, you know, back to Baghdad International, there was a stretch of highway. You know, if you can make it down that road and not lose anybody, I mean, you better play the lottery, because it was a hit or miss on that. But he wrote a song about it. Mikhail Buck wrote a song about the Irish Road, which was Route Irish. But again, whatever they could hit, they were happy that is pig shit is that they hit it. You know, when they weren't able to hit something, then it was like shit. Now they know who it is, and they know where they're going. It
took them a little while to get their timing right, because, you know, all of the detonators go off at different times and all that stuff. And I mean, look, they were the enemy, we were fighting each other. Animosity and all that stuff, but like, good on them, because we were looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we weren't trying to pay attention and we were just had our thumb up our butt. No, we were good at what we did, and they figured out how to get one past us. You know what I mean? So it is, I mean, at some point you just got to go, like, throw your hands up and be like, hey, it is what it is. Like, respect, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, they found some neat way. I wouldn't say neat ways, but it was intriguing to find out how ingenious how they really figured out of how to, you know, how they can describe, you know, kind of make it less visible, and using, you know, Coke cans to animal parts and shit, to then shoving it into concrete, then to shoving it into fucking 55-gallon drums, placing it up underneath the fucking ground, and having it, you know, pressure plates, to whatever else, you know, they could, you know, fabricate, even using, you know, human bodies.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. They had,
you know,
Yeah, when you lose respect for the enemy, they make you pay for it, right? Like that's what you like. Never, they would never do that, and bang, they get you. Yep. No, so I get hit, boom. We were taking some MREs and shit, just random stuff over to our guys, and dropped it off. And as we came out of their fob, there's this roundabout, and it was my favorite part of the city because it was like beautiful. It's the only part of the city anybody ever kept up with, and it has a little flower bed. And as we came around it to go back home, there was an army unit there, and they go, "Hey, we're doing some shit. You guys got to go around and go back the other way." And as we ran around the other side of the roundabout, it went boom. And I woke up inside the Humvee, which was new.
Yeah.
And I reached up to my gun and tried to pull myself up to my machine gun to try and, lay down some cover and see what I could see and do my best to do my job as a machine gunner. Yeah. And my right leg did everything I asked it to, but my left leg wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And finally, as I lifted myself up, my left leg bent in a way that it normally didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I might have a bad day. So I laid back down and did what, we train for this type of stuff, right? Everybody, when you're training in the military, every once in a while you get tagged and you're like, hey, you're a casualty. So you got to lay down and let everybody do their job. And so that's literally, I remembered all of that. And I was like, okay, I got to let them do their job and help them as much as I can to move my own body and be as not just a dead weight for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if
when they finally go on.
I'm wondering if that roundabout that you're talking about, I wonder if that's is that the one that's between the two waters? It's like you have like
it's on Route Michigan, right at the end of the city as you're getting out of Ramadi. So like where the bridges are, where the Tigris and the Euphrates split at the top.
Yes.
If you go all the way down to the other side of the city on Route Michigan, there's the last little fob is combat outpost is what we called it.
Yeah.
And like 100 yards or 200 yards away from their gate is a little roundabout.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. It's the one that's like it's on two either side. There's like it's at the final tip of it, the ending of it, and it's a little roundabout, and then there's on it, which is a 2-lane in the middle, and then on the outsides of it, there's another 2 lanes on the outside, which is going either direction. Yeah, I'm looking at a photo of it, which I'm gonna pop that up there because as you'll do it, as you were talking about it, it is one of the most, like areas that's well kept. If you look it up compared to a lot of other places into the cities, it's like it's not well kept. It's like shit everywhere. You can find literally shit there. But
especially at the time. At the time, it was a war-torn country. There was nothing that was nice.
Yeah.
So that like a flower bed that actually had flowers in it was like, whoa, shit. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
So they get me out of the Humvee. They pop me full of morphine. And they get me to a field hospital. And at this point, I realized that I'm not the only one hurt.
Yeah.
That I'm hurt pretty bad, but my A gunner is hurt pretty rough, and I'm pretty sure my lieutenant is hurt too. But at the time I didn't know how bad he was hurt. It was really funny because they get me to the field hospital there, Combat Outpost. And they're working on me, and the doctors are working on me, and I'm like, I'm high on morphine. I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, we're good. Like, I'll be back in a couple weeks. It'll be fine. And I start talking to the doc, and I'm like, so when do you think I'll be able to go back to my unit? And this medic is talking to me. And he goes, nah, dog, you're going home. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, how bad is it? He goes, it's rough. I was like, am I going to keep the leg? And he goes, it looks like you'll keep it. It doesn't look that bad. I was like, all right, cool. And I knew it was bad because when I started to try and look down, he would put his hand under my chin and hold my head up so I couldn't look down. I was like, dick. I thought it wasn't that bad, jerk. Anyway. And then it was a series of flashes. I was just in and out of consciousness from that point on. I would wake up and I'd be being transported on a litter from a field hospital to a helicopter, and then I'd wake up and I'd be in a helicopter going into a field hospital, and then I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up and there'd be doctors shining lights in my face, and go to sleep, wake up, I'm on another helicopter, go to sleep, wake up. There's lots of that. And then finally I got to finally like rest where I wasn't being woken up every 5 minutes. And when I woke up, I was in a hospital bed and my parents were at my bedside. And I was like, what the hell are you guys doing in Iraq? And they said, nope, you're in Bethesda, Maryland. You've been in a coma for a week. Both your lungs collapsed. You almost died a couple of times.
Wow.
But you're good. You're here. And we're here. And you're stable. And I was like, okay. And my leg was in shambles. It was being held together by giant metal rods that were sticking in, holding the bones together. My calf was as big around as my thigh was, and there was like a hole about yay big going all the way through it that was just 1.5 inches of bone and muscle and tissue just vaporized. And that's when I got introduced to the Wounded Warrior Project. It was like right then.
Yeah.
My parents left the room and a guy walked in wearing a Wounded Warrior Project polo. And he goes, here, man, here's a backpack. You know, you don't have a lot of personal property here. All of your personal property gets cut off you overseas to lessen the chance of infection.
Yeah.
And you end up like in a sterile hospital room being poked and prodded in a gown that's borrowed.
Yeah.
So like he goes, here, man, here's a backpack. We've got socks, shorts, t-shirts, underwear, anything you could ever need as far as like comfort, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, razor, whatever. Just literally just to make you comfortable while you're here.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, sweet. Having that backpack was awesome because having a t-shirt that you can just like say, hey, can you hand me my t-shirt? Like,
yeah.
It's hard to explain how important that can be in a place where nothing's yours.
Yep.
So the doctors and I tried to save my leg for about 2 months solid, in and out of surgery every other day, to clean, to, you know, rearrange and fix this and reattach something here or there, or get something in the right position. And it was a tough couple months because you're not allowed to eat before surgery, so you're just like,
yeah,
starved for 24 hours before you go into surgery.
Yeah.
And then you get out of surgery and you can't physically eat because you're still all groggy, and finally towards the end of the day you're like, all right, I can eat. You get one good meal in you, and then you have to starve yourself the next 24 hours because you got to go back into surgery the day after that. And it's just, it was a long...
Playing that cycle with it.
Yeah, it was just a long couple months of that, and before the doctors and I called it quits, and we amputated my left leg below the knee.
Yeah.
I made the call, man. There was a lot of things that were wrong with it, but the thing that like made me pull the trigger was I was laying in bed, and I went like this to like just scratch my head or something, and as I went towards the back of my head, I felt a bald spot in my hair. And I was like, I'm balding? Like, there's no hair growing there. What the fuck? And I was like, I'm 19 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be balding. Doc, let's get me the hell out of this hospital bed.
Yeah.
And I'd had 3 roommates that were missing limbs that, like, woke up without a leg. And they left after they recovered, and then they came back to visit me walking on their new prosthetic legs. And so I was like, I had a feeling I was going to be fine. And that's when they sent me down to San Antonio, Texas. And they gave me a leg and taught me how to walk and run and all that fun stuff, which is way easier than it sounds.
Yeah.
Because I still have a knee.
So, like...
Oh, I forgot to tell you about my lieutenant and Kenny. My egg gunner got peppered from head to toe. He died a couple of times, and they resuscitated him, and he's alive and well. He's still got a few issues from shrapnel, but he's doing good. He works for the federal government in law enforcement.
Nice. Nice. That's, I mean,
yeah.
That's good. That, I mean, you know, that do you ever? It's good that he survived it. With that kind of, maybe being peppered, because that's definitely going to be a fucking almost making them, as like people would think of when you think peppered, it's like, you know, almost turning yourself. It's like where you're almost turned into like Swiss cheese.
Dude, he's a lucky dude. He, like I said, he died a couple of times and was resuscitated. He had yeah, we call each other. We still keep in touch. He's a great dude. He's my boy, my brother from another mother. Kenny. And I say federal law enforcement because I can't say what he does because I don't want to throw him out. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those, like, he's at a high level, so I'm just like, I won't even say it. I won't even mention it.
You gotta be careful because
yeah. And then but our lieutenant unfortunately was killed in the explosion. He got hit with a piece right in between the helmet and his flak jacket. And I guess he didn't realize that he was injured or that he'd been hit because he got out of the vehicle and started trying to direct Marines and tell them where to go and what, because he's our lieutenant, right? Like, he's in charge of everybody. And I guess he got 1 or 2 sentences out before he collapsed. And by the time Doc was able to get to him, I think he was already gone.
Wow.
So, Matt, he was from Long Island, New York. His name was Matt Litch. But I woke up, I get back, anyway, fast forward again. I felt like I left that story by the wayside. I had to pick that back up.
That's all good.
So I'm in Texas. I have my leg, and country music is just everywhere. I mean, it's Texas. They have their own culture of country music. Not only do they love country music, they have a subgenre of country music that is only played in Texas. It's a wonderful thing. And I really fell in love with the whole culture and just everything about it. And before too long, I was back to writing songs. And like, I played music the whole time I was in the Marine Corps. I mean, I'd go and I'd steal our chaplain's guitar and play it when I was in Iraq. And in the hospital, my dad gave me, brought my guitar to me. So I had, even though I was laid up in the hospital and going through surgeries and stuff, I could still practice and plug away a little bit and try and impress the nurses that were hot. So music was always like there, but in Texas, I started trying to write my own songs again, like I would do back in high school when I was in my band.
Yeah.
And everything I wrote came out country. It came out like with this storytelling sort of thing, and I think it's because I grew up loving storytelling music.
Yeah.
Like from my mom's corridos and mariachi music and all the stuff that I grew up listening from just on the Hispanic side of my family. And then on top of that, you go into like rap. Rap is very storytelling type genre of music. You go into a lot of the older music that I was exposed to, like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and I was always really drawn to music that told stories, whether that be a story of heartache or love or whatever.
Yeah.
Then later, emo music and punk music and all that stuff. That's all it is oh, my girlfriend, she left me. Where are you?
Oh man.
So it's all country music is adult emo.
Yeah.
With that's all it is. And so when I retired, when I was getting ready to get out, I was left with a decision of what to do. I could go back home to Los Angeles. I could come back to Texas and live in Texas for a little while, do music there. I could go to Nashville, but I didn't really know anybody in Nashville. And so I went home for about 6 months, and while I was home, I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who grew up here in Nashville. We met in the hospital. We went on a random trip to like Chicago.
Yeah.
Because he's an arm amputee, and he was up in Maryland. He was up at Walter Reed Hospital. So that's where they made his stuff, and his whole recovery took place up there. So we didn't really meet or hang out until that trip, and then we met on that trip. And when we retired, he called me. He goes, "Hey man, there's this big country music festival. You play music. Do you want to come do this thing? We'll get a bunch of backstage passes, and I got a bunch. I grew up here. I got a bunch of friends. Like, we'll figure it out." And I was like, "Sure." So I showed up for a week, and we went to CMA Fest, and I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the genre of country music and the way artists were accessible during CMA Fest.
Yeah.
All of my favorite artists that I was listening to, like, you could go and talk to them and have 2 minutes to like tell them whatever, how much whatever song they meant to you or whatever. And it was just beautiful. So I went back home to LA and packed all my gear and put it in my little Honda Accord and drove out to Nashville. I've been here ever since playing music. I wanted to make a living as a songwriter, because when I first got here, I didn't know that you could be just a songwriter.
Yeah.
Like, I thought all artists wrote their own music and recorded it, and that was kind of the way it did it. I had no idea George Strait has never written a song in his life. I don't know. He's probably written 2 of them. I'm sure he's written 1 or 2 that he's recorded, but the vast majority of the songs that he's recorded were not written by him.
Yeah, they were all written by an artist, and then he just picked them up as like, hey, we introduce you to these songs. What do you think? And then he may have only picked.
Even more than that, I was very lucky to meet Dean Dillon, who wrote a bunch of his hits, and Dean and him were just pals. So that's like, they're friends. He's like, hey, I wrote this song. Let me play. Hey, man, you mind if I play that and record it? No, not at all. Go ahead. And that's like the way I didn't even know that was an industry.
Yeah.
As much as I loved music, I always thought that it was the artist that recorded the song that wrote it as well. Yeah. And so when I moved here and I found out that was a job, I was like, oh, that's all I want to do. Why do I want to be an artist? I could just write songs. And then somewhere along the line, I realized that I actually really do enjoy singing my own songs and playing. And not only is it like cathartic to write them, but it's also cathartic to share them with people. And I didn't realize how much music was helping me through stuff. Mainly because I didn't write about my service. Like, I just refused to write about being in the military or my whole experience. Like, I just didn't write about it. I didn't want to be pigeonholed as that dude that wrote all the military songs. Like some, I don't know, peg-legged Toby Keith or some shit. And one day I wrote a song called Heroes. And I only wrote it because I'd just gotten back from this thing called Soldier Ride. This is another Wounded Warrior Project thing. And I realized that all these dudes that were in the same boat as me, who had all kind of gone through real similar stuff as I had and been through the same stuff, we were all doing the same things. We were all self-medicating and self-isolating and just like not living to the best of our abilities. But I had a really good excuse. I was trying to be a rock star, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really good excuse for a lot of really bad behavior. And on that Soldier Ride, I was like, oh shit, I guess it's not just me. And if they're going through it too, then that means that we're all going through this thing together. And so we got into I got into peer mentorship through Wounded Warrior Project and just keep each other accountable, right? Battle buddy. Yeah. Go back to keeping it simple. You call your buddy, hey, how's it going this week? Doing good, man. Doing good. I only drank, a case of beer or whatever. Awesome. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. It's hard to tell somebody they got to quit drinking when you're still drinking a fifth of Jim Beam a night to go to bed. So it's like you get better not just for yourself, but for your friends also. And that led me to want to start writing songs about what I'd been through, and I wrote a song called Heroes that I recorded and put on an album in 2020, and it's out and y'all can listen to it. It's the album's called Heroes, Sal Gonzalez. But it was after writing that song that I realized that a weight was lifted off of my soul after I'd written that song.
Yeah.
And so now anytime something is on my chest that I gotta get it off, I write songs about it. And sometimes they're good enough to record. Not always. Sometimes they're real turds. But this one's one that I wrote that made me feel a little bit better, but I love being a musician. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But there are some aspects of this job that suck. And one of them is missing your children's first steps or words or whatever. And I missed an awful lot of them. And I wrote this song right after I got the phone call that I'd missed my daughter's first steps.
Wow.
So I'm starting to hate the thing I love the most. This guitar cries, but I still bear the load. These nights can get so lonely, but I never thought they'd own me. So I'm starting to hate the thing I love the most. I feel guilty every time I hit the road, 'cause your love is stealing pieces of my soul. Now I dread coming home just to see how much you've grown. I feel guilty every time I hit the road. So be careful what you wish for, oh, 'cause nothing comes for free. And all the things you want from life might not be what you need. Feeling like a ghost staring at pictures on your phone makes you start to hate the thing you love the most. Gym name seems to help when I'm a wreck, 'cause I can't sleep without you on my bed. And I know he's a crutch that I'm leaning on far too much. Lord, the gym name seems to help when I'm a wreck. So be careful what you wish for, oh, 'cause nothing comes for free. And all the things you want from life might not be what you need. Feeling like a ghost staring at pictures on your phone makes you start to hate the thing you love most. I'd written that song and played it a few times for people, but every time I played it, it sounded unfinished. And every time I'd finish it, I'd hear my mom's voice in the back of my head going, "Oh, your life's so bad." So my mom, she's like this immigrant lady who's just always looking on the bright side of stuff, and it's like, you complain about your life and she just rolls her eyes. It's like, okay, honey, yes. So I went back to the drawing board and I wrote this last verse for her. I'm learning to love the things I hate the most. It took so long for me to get the joke. How it should be a crime to let hate waste my time. So I'm learning to love the things I hate the most. But I'm still starting to hate the thing I love the most.
Wow. That speaks very high volume to what exactly you named it. It's like That's like dead on.
Thank you. Yeah, man. You know, when I first moved to town and I was first starting to be a songwriter in town and writing the things that I was writing, and when you first start, it's all bad. It takes a long time to get good. But a saying that stuck out to me here in Nashville is country music is really simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 chords and the truth. And if you can just keep it that simple, you can complicate it a little bit musically.
Yeah.
But you can't ever not tell the truth.
Yeah.
And it's just, even if you're telling a story that's not necessarily your story to tell, it's still got to be the truth, right? Like, it's still got to be heartfelt, the messaging and whatnot. So, I just try and do that always.
No, it's definitely amazing, and you know, I wish you nothing but the luck with all that, because you know, with the music that I've heard that's already come out from you, it's like a lot of I might say this a lot, but again, it's the truth. It's a lot of the music that everybody that I've listened to, it's absolutely amazing. And it's amazing in its own ways. Because, again, what Garth Brooks, Toby Keith, George Strait, Mark Chestnut, the Allman Brothers to Kenny Chesney to Trace Atkins, and the list goes on. They all have so many different, songs that they've written or have played, you know, and it's absolutely amazing, you know, just as much as your song, this one, you know, talking about, you know, the first steps that you've missed and stuff, and in the military life it's so true. In military life, you will miss so many firsts. It can be the first steps, the first crawls, the first talk, the first word they say, you know.
Everything, yep.
You know, it doesn't matter what it is. You can miss the Sweet 16, the Quinceañera, you know, type deal. It doesn't, it's all this stuff, and, you know, and it's just because, again, we got up on that day, which mine was July 5th, 2006. I stood up, raised my right hand, and I took an oath, and I enlisted.
Yep.
You know, to where yours was October 21st?
Yep.
Of 2003. You know, and
yeah, there's a real similarity to that. There's a similarity to my music. There's a similarity. I talk to people that have never served that just like they're business people. They're people that travel the country all the time because they're salesmen or whatever.
Yeah.
Or pharmaceutical reps or what. I talk to people all the time, and that song resonates with everybody that travels. Everybody that has to spend any time away from their family feels it, because when you have kids, you realize it. Like, if you're gone for a day, you come back and they've grown a half a centimeter bigger than they were, right? Like, it's just they've grown. There's just something different that wasn't there yesterday, and it's so heartbreaking when you have to go away for long periods of time as a parent. And it resonates. It resonates with everybody that has to go through it, be they musicians, military people, business people. It's a human thing to have to go through. I hope to be able to bridge those things and be able to bring it home.
Now, I want to get into some of the stuff is, you know, your music and how it's, now that you're with Label 22 and everything, you're pretty much, you've already signed with them as a recording artist and everything, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Which it's probably well known. It's probably I believe it's already been put out there. But do you have any up and coming. I know it might not be your like. It's like you're probably doing like a start. First act or something going on with another recording artist. Do you have any upcoming shows that you maybe that you're going to be doing in 2025 at all yet?
I don't. I have a lot of private stuff booked at the moment. I don't have any tours to promote my own stuff as of yet.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm always open. I'm always booking stuff. I'm always booking as many shows as I possibly can. But nothing big. I know we're probably gonna go to the Opry again this year.
Yeah.
So I made my debut at the Grand Ole Opry last year in May. So we want to go back and promote the new album because we're in the middle of record. I've got 4 or 5 in the can ready to go. I need 1 or 2 more to be ready to release before spring. Before it releases in spring, and then we'll be full on promoting. So we'll probably promote, like I said, Grand Ole Opry, lots of radio stuff. Probably hit Michigan, Ohio, Texas, California. Those are the states where I'm like biggest. Florida is where I get a lot of traction.
Orlando?
No, oddly enough, Jacksonville.
Really, Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Of all parts of Florida. Like you would think
Wounded Warrior Project has a huge contingent of people down there.
Oh, is that? I wonder. Do they have an office in Jacksonville, or is it down in?
No, their headquarters. They're our headquarters. I work for them. Our headquarters is in Jacksonville.
That speaks volume right there, because I mean, if it's their headquarters are in, headquarters are in Jacksonville, then that would be.
If I get into Jacksonville at all, I usually try and book a show, whether that be an acoustic or a full band show, somewhere, and like I said, I normally have a packed house anywhere I play in Jacksonville.
Well, what I may have to do is look at it, because I know I travel a lot too. Most of mine's like with some of my nonprofit that I'm doing, which is Track Day for Veterans. To throw that out to you as well. It's one of the things that we do, and we have ambassadors that take we partnered up with a bunch of race teams, and we take veterans, into the races all for free for them. They get to hang out with
awesome.
It is. It's. I'll tell you, some of the guys that I've had on it, it's like we've been doing it now for 2 years. And we've taken out just over 100 and I want to say about 120 veterans into the races, and they get to go hang out in the pits. They get to hang out with the race teams and the drivers. They get free swag from the race teams, as well as they get merchandise from the podcast, as well as nonprofit. But they also get swag from, like, we partnered up with Milton. Milton Modified Racing Series. They get merchandise from them. So they get a bunch of crap, and then they get tickets for free. They get pit road tickets for free. They get seats in the stands, and then they get all their food and drinks, non-alcoholic stuff, all paid for. All paid through the nonprofit.
Nice.
So it's like, so again,
that
that's
non-alcoholic stuff is important.
Yeah.
Can't be buying them alcohol.
And definitely not being in the pits, because as you already know, sport racing already gets very tense, and you just throw an extra wrench in there, it's gonna throw the monkey, definitely.
For sure.
For it. So,
and vets love to drink, dude. We're such a drinking culture that it's like once you get us started, that's it. It's just downhill from that point on. That was like if you didn't drink before you got in, you definitely drink, and by time when you got out of basic,
You know, I can tell you how many times we filled bathtubs when we went on leave and just full of alcohol.
That is the rule. I had one Marine that never drank. He wasn't a drinker when he got in. He was just always high on life. He was one of those kids that had like ADHD, but he was just always really awesome. So we'd be out partying and drinking, and he'd just be right there with us drinking water and Coke or whatever.
Well, he probably wanted to play it safe and be able to not have to take one for the team.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
I didn't party with them all that much.
I'll tell you, but it's so true. It's you will find there are some people that were in that didn't drink at all, but there's a majority of us that we would drink.
Those are the exceptions and not the rule. The rule is you're gonna fucking drink generally, because if you are even slightly okay with drinking, like I don't know what happened to that dude. I don't know. I've met several people that don't drink, and it's usually like, oh, my dad was an alcoholic, so I don't drink at all. I don't touch the stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you have some type of story like that, it's just a drinking culture. It's what we do. It's part of our fucking ceremonies. Like in the Marine Corps, it's part of the birthday celebration. We have a birthday ball every year, and we have a big bowl of punch that we call the grog that's full of rum and Lord knows what all is. It's just a big jungle juice of alcoholism.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And it's like part of the ceremony. Everybody gets a drink from the grog, and we say a toast to Chesty Puller, and it's a whole thing. Sorry for my chair's all squeaky. I apologize.
Don't worry. I just lubricated my chair up, so it's like it's not squeaking. You know, it's the same. It's probably the same damn chair you have, but just a different color.
Yeah, probably. I need a new one. This thing's a piece of garbage.
Oh man. Well, maybe I might have to send you one down, because I'll tell you, my wife plays like these games, and she wins these damn chairs, left and right.
They're good.
Yeah, they're like $200 chairs, and she plays a $10 little game, and she wins the damn chairs.
Nice.
All that throughout the whole damn house. We have like 3 or 4 of these damn things.
Yeah, ship me one down, son.
I'm gonna just to give everybody, just to give you a heads up, we are definitely getting into the time ending of the show. We're gonna be finishing it off, here shortly. But Sal, I gotta say, dude, it's definitely been a pleasure, chatting with you and going through this, the memories of certain things, and then going down your memory road of, the sacrifice that you've made for this country, and for everybody that's in this country, and we owe you more than words could even express. We're glad that you made it home. Your buddy Kenny made it home. Sad that you lost your LT, Matt Lynch, over there. But I will say, to this episode, and this is up to you, to this episode, I would like to dedicate it, to Lieutenant Lynch, if that's okay with you.
Sure, man. I'd say we take it a step further and dedicate it to all the guys we lost in that deployment. To the men at 2-5, because it wasn't just him. He was one of 15 dudes that we lost on that deployment, and 10 of them were from my company. Jeez. So like, that's you know what I mean. Like that, he was just one of many. But
yeah, let's take it. Let's take it to 11, and let's say we'll put it, everybody with the 2-5 on that deployment. 12, 15.
Sure. Shout out, boys. Yeah, man.
This
I guess
this drink is for you.
Cheers. I don't drink anymore, but I'll vape to that. I say I don't drink. I don't get drunk anymore. I'll have a cocktail every now and again. because I feel weird whenever I'm at like a New Year's Eve thing and everybody's drinking and you're there sitting there with orange juice or whatever.
Yep.
I just always feel weird. So I can have one or two and I'm fine. But if I catch a buzz, I'm like, whoa there, cowboy, what are you doing?
Absolutely, totally get it.
No, brother, but shout out, cheers to all the men of 2-5. Not just the men who we lost, but the guys that served as well. I still keep in touch with a lot of them. Shout out to the group chat that'll probably get me put in prison at some point. You guys are degenerates. Not for anything I post, mind you.
just what they post.
Of course, it's always what they post, never what I post. So follow me on social media at Sal G Music everywhere. I think on Facebook it's official Sal G Music, but just
yeah, I'll
follow me.
I'll have it down in the links down below, everybody. So when you see it, you're going to be able to. It's going to be pinned. You're going to be able to see all of it on there. So definitely follow him on all of his pages. Give him a shout out. Give him a like. Give him the subs, because we all love our subbies on YouTube. Give us some.
Yep, Spotify, iTunes, wherever your music is bought and sold, you can find my stuff there. The album's called Heroes. I have another EP out that I dropped last year. That's all like acoustic live stuff, and then had a song out with Kane Brown called "The Homesick Thing" with veterans. That you can find out on Spotify. Anyway, you just look me up. Sal Gonzalez, Heroes.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me, boss.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. And we're gonna salute it. We're gonna give it to the 2-5 guys. And we definitely want to say we'll catch you guys later. So definitely check all of our viewers. Check them out. Subscribe and check them out on his music, and make sure you support him with whatever you can, merchandise and stuff. All right. Until next time, Beavis and Butthead, take it over for us and let us know what you think of this episode. We'll catch you next time.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah. Shut up!
You suck!
Stop, in the name of all that which does not suck.
Thanks for watching Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement. Please make sure to check out the Fubar Studios on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and visit the website at fubarstudio.com. Fubar Studios is a Sinista1 Production.